Happy weekend to you out there, televiewers on my Media Prime Television, especially those who are watching us at this time. And a brief team, it is weekend and of course the last edition of the program for the week. And we are always here to dig several layers beneath the major headlines as captured by newspapers. On today's edition of the program, the newspapers are telling us that SDF top party officials have met in Buda in the west region of the country, and they are demanding or urging the national chairman, Nijon Frundi, to reverse his decision, the decision he took recently appointing some officials of that party. They are accusing Nijon Frundi of violating the party's text, as well as trying to do what they term witch hunting in the party. We shall tell you more and many other headlines as captured by newspapers today in Cameroon. Bomotonguina, Gwladys is here. Let's find out what she gathered for us for the very last edition for the week in the French language newspapers. Bonjour Gwladys.
Bonjour Lasha. Bonjour à vous. Merci de rester fidèle à Debrief, votre émission bilingue de revue de presse sur ma Media Prime Télévision. Alors, pour ce jour, nous allons débuter avec le journal L'économie quotidien. Le journal L'économie quotidien, lui, qui nous parle en grand titre des bâtiments, véhicules et terrains. Pourquoi est-ce que l'État du Cameroun fait-il donc l'inventaire de son patrimoine? L'opération qui débute donc le 1er juillet 2022 à Douala va se poursuivre dans les autres villes du pays. Les détails sont en page 3 de l'économie quotidien ce matin. Secteur bancaire au Cameroun, les salaires des employés du secteur bancaire sera augmenté de 5% dès le 1er juillet 2022. Deux applications pour améliorer l'accès des PME au financement, c'est du moins ce que nous présente le journal L'économie quotidien ce matin. Il nous parle de Notamé et de MyObus. Voilà les deux applications qui vont donc améliorer l'accès des PME au financement au Cameroun. Les détails sont donc en page 6 de l'économie quotidien ce matin. À sa page 5, le journal nous parle de transparence fiscale, le grand bond de l'Afrique en 2021. Nous poursuivons, mesdames, messieurs, avec le journal Émergence quotidien. Émergence quotidien qui nous parle, lui, en grand titre de carburant. Des traders boudent donc le marché d'approvisionnement du Cameroun. Les détails sont en page 3 du journal Émergence quotidien ce matin. À sa page 2, le journal nous parle de taxes sur le transfert d'argent. Le Cameroun sur le point de dépasser son objectif. En page 7, le journal nous parle d'Omaro Bagoudou. Nous intervenons donc pour éclairer la lanterne du juge. C'est du moins ce que nous présente le journal Émergence ce matin à sa page 7. Nous poursuivons ce matin avec l'œil du Sahel. L'œil du Sahel qui nous parle, lui, en grand titre des examens officiel au Cameroun. L'OTS, le mouvement On a trop supporté, va donc impacter les résultats dans l'extrême nord. Les détails sont en page 10 de l'œil du Sahel ce matin. À sa page 5, le journal nous parle de distribution des MILDA. 1 386 907 ménages déjà servis dans le Grand Nord. Nous restons toujours dans le même journal, l'œil du Sahel, à sa page 5. Le journal nous parle de l'accès à la PMA. Les femmes de plus de 55 ans sont donc exclus de cet accès à la PMA. Nous continuons ce matin avec le journal Le Jour. Le journal Le Jour qui nous parle, lui, en grand titre de l'affaire du SDF. Des hauts cadres demandent à Frundi d'annuler ses nominations. Réunis à Bouddha, ils ont publié une déclaration dans laquelle ils reprochent au chairman d'avoir organisé une chasse aux sorciers tout en violant les textes organiques du parti. Les détails sont en page 3 du journal Le Jour ce matin. En page 4, le journal nous parle de tests Covid payants. Les députés exigent donc des clarifications. Dans le même journal, Le Jour, à sa page 3, le journal nous parle de classement de la FIFA. Le Cameroun perd donc une place. Il passe de 37e à 38e mondial, 5e donc en Afrique. Voilà tout, mesdames, messieurs, pour vos titres en langue française. Place à la découverte des titres en langue anglaise avec toi, Lasha.
Thank you, Gwladys Bomotonguina. Let's kickstart with the Guardian Post newspaper. The Guardian Post this morning is focusing entirely on the Social Democratic Front Party, the SDF. After appointments in SDF, writes the Guardian Post newspaper, Frundi, OC Joshua in eye of the storm. 27 party heavyweights accuse Frundi of high-handedness, and they are pushing for urgent convention to review party's vision. And they equally want Honorable OC Joshua to present reports of 2018 presidential and 2020 twin polls in the country, and they equally call for an external audit of party's account. These top party officials, 27 of them, met in Buda in Bambutu's division of the West region. That was recently, and they came out with a declaration. And in the declaration, they are accusing the national chairman of the Social Democratic Front of witch hunting and flagrant violation of the party's text. You can read more in this edition of the Guardian Post newspaper, talking about the move taken by the top party officials accusing Frundi of witch hunting and the violation of the party's text. We stay with the Guardian Post newspaper to talk about MTN Cameroon that has enhanced entrepreneurial skills of 40 startups in the country. You can read more in this edition of the Set newspaper. On to the Median. The Median newspaper this morning is interested in Cameroon's first hypermarket, Carrefour, to open July 6, 2022 in Yaoundé. And the paper is also telling us that 40th World Music Day, military bans 3 Yaoundé public, as we are told. We stay with the Media newspaper to talk about Qatar World Cup 2022. Fecafoot to catch CFA 5.6 billion for Cameroon's qualification, and each country that qualifies for the World Cup will be given some amount of money. And the paper is telling us this morning that the Fecafoot, the football federation of the country represented by Samuel Eto'o, will be cashing 5.6 billion francs CFA for Cameroon's qualification. And still talking about Qatar World Cup 2022, Qatar prohibits sex for unmarried couples, and those who are found wanting or defaulters will face 7 years imprisonment, as the Media newspaper put it. So unmarried people going to Qatar in November should be very careful as not to have sex, for they will be prosecuted, according to what the Media newspaper is telling us this morning. Thank you, televiewers, for watching. This is what we gather in the English language newspapers this morning. And with us in the studio is Monie Emmanuela, who is of the English desk of My Media Prime Television. She's joining us this morning. Good morning, Monie Emmanuela.
Good morning, Kingsley. Good morning, Gwladys, and good morning to all of you viewers. Welcome to another edition of The Brief on My Media Prime Television.
Maitre Alex, good morning and welcome. Thank you too for joining us this morning.
Good morning, good morning. It's nice to see Emmanuela once more on the program. Also, my greetings to you, Mr. Lasha and Gwladys and your entire team. And also, I want to faithful viewers of your program and the beautiful people of Cameroon. And I will start by thanking the team of The Brief. Once more, it's always a pleasure to be on your program.
Okay, Maitre, thank you too for always answering present. And we talked about this issue yesterday, and we are still talking about the same issue today. The Guardian Post and Emergence, as well as Le Jour newspaper, so this morning they are telling us that some party officials, 27 of them, SDF top party officials, they met in Buda in Bambutu's division of the West region, and they say they want Frundi to reverse the decision he took recently, and they accuse him of witch hunting and flagrant violation of the SDF text.
Those who follow the crowd do not go further than the crowd. I've never been a militant of the SDF party, but however, I will tell you that from day one, before the SDF was created, I was always in the street of Pamenda, Liberty Square. I was always in the stadium as an activist, and sometimes it takes 30 years for people to realize what somebody like myself I can see. I'm not surprised about anything that is happening with the party today. We shall never change our political leader until we change the people who elect them. Citizens should be able to put people in power who can transform the party. What I will tell you, I've read the Guardian newspaper. What shocks me is that the National Legal Advisor of SDF also signed, let me call it, is it a petition? He's a legal advisor, and they are complaining. Before, I made it clear that SDF on your program is a dysfunctional party. If SDF cannot respect their own rules, they will call them a leading opposition political party. If I add the UNDP inside, because they're in coalition with the ruling CPDM, you have 159 seats, then SDF have 5. SDF is finished. SDF is no longer a political heavyweight in the
Maitre, don't you think, like others, that this is just a move to, you know, cause a debate within the spectrum? For like many of you, you've been saying that the SDF is silent, the SDF has not been active, it's a dysfunctional party. Don't you think it is another strategy to ignite public debate and bring forth SDF to the limelight?
The political landscape of Cameroon have changed. SDF is a party of yesteryears. And why do I say so? The reason we created our party, BCMP, is because you have to look at the country and understand what is going on. If you look at what they are saying, I'm happy. They have wake up, but to be honest, I don't like people who are reactive. I like proactive people. What the SDF people are saying is that, okay, they should look at what the 2018, 2020 presidential election and twin elections. What were they waiting for? They are saying that they have violated the laws. People, in order for you to be appointed as an SDF member, you have to have 5-year membership requirement, and people are not supporters. What were they doing? All the things I've ready. But at the end of the day, those who are signing those petitions, it seems as if they are vexatious, they are frivolous, because they have been sacked. If you want to do something, do it for the betterment.
What about the legal advisor? What about the legal advisor you talked about? Has he been sacked also?
The point is, how come that he's a national legal advisor, Mr. John Fundi, have been breaching the bylaws or the rules of the party, and he was silenced? So is he a legal
You can advise, but you can advise. You cannot force your boss to take to your pieces of advice.
No, let me tell you something. If you are a chairman, I'm a legal advisor, you have breached party regulation or bylaws or rules, whatever they call it, I should tell you, Mr. Chairman, our party rules or bylaws says ABC. You are in violation of, automatically the chairman will listen to it. And if the chairman doesn't listen,
do you think so? You think so?
That's how it works.
You think so, Maitre Alex?
It's a fact. Let me tell you something. When the Yondo Black, they wanted to create a political party in the February 1990, they were arrested for because what? They wanted to create a political party. When the government of Cameroon realized that the constitution of Cameroon says you can create a political party, they changed their move. So if you're following the law, if Chairman Fundi understands the law, Fundi would have said yes. My point is, maybe these people, they were not advising Fundi. That's my point. If they would have told Fundi that, is it Article 13, Article 8.5 says that the NEC have got exclusive right on this, Fundi wouldn't have objected to it. My point is, my reading in between the line is that the National Legal Advisor do his job. That's my reading, because Fundi is not a fool. Fundi would have seen that, oh, I'm breaching the law, but this man is not doing his job. What they are doing now, they are being reactive rather than proactive. I told you, my uncle Ndive Kale is still a member of SDF. My point is, if you want to join a party, you have to look at the objective. SDF are calling now, from what I read, that they should change their vision. What is vision? What we need is a manifesto on education, on diplomacy, on economic, on employment, or whatsoever. What vision? SDF have never had a vision. SDF vision is suffer don't finish, and suffer have never finished because they have contributed in the suffering of having an oligarchy, some people who don't even respect their own bylaws in their party. That's what we have been facing. SDF is worse than the CPDM. SDF is a chameleon. SDF is a CPDM in disguise, and they are just waiting to get into the government. I'm happy with what is happening now. I'm happy that some of the good people of SDF, they have woken up, but they should be proactive. They shouldn't be reactive, because we don't want selling after the market. It is not good enough. I'll tell you something. The political landscape of the Cameroons have changed. Why do I say so? We have passed that sell-out date where SDF used to be powerful, maybe in Northwest and Southwest. The people of Northwest and Southwest will never, ever, ever rely on SDF anymore.
Why do you say so? Why do you say so? Why do you think so? Or why do you strongly believe so?
Let me tell you why. In politics, you want to win seats. That's what you need. You want to win seats. And how do you win seats? Benububa Maigari is concentrating where he has got his stronghold, his support. Where? In Garawa. Issa Chiruma is doing the same thing in Garawa. Daikole Daisala is in Mariwa. Kabale Libri is in the Bansaland. And British Cameroon National Party is in Northwest and Southwest. I say this because the political landscape have changed. Why? If you look in countries that have similar
people are doing tribalistic, people are doing tribalistic politics. Is that what you're supporting? Tribalistic politics?
Listen.
Politics of tribal lines.
Just give me 1 second. I'm the biggest tribal person on earth. I'm a very tribal Manchester United fan. I'm very tribal to my family, loyal. Tribalism is loyalty. There's nothing wrong with it. What is wrong is nepotism, where you favor people, your friends or family, and give them position. There's nothing wrong with tribal. I love my traditional dance, that's tribal. I love my custom and culture, that's tribal. There's nothing wrong with that. What is wrong is nepotism. And Fungi have displayed, from what I read, he has shown that he's favoring nepotism. Why? By bringing people into the party who are not SDF member, who have not been there for up to 5 years, he has favored them and promoted them. That's nepotism. That's what we should be condemning. To continue again, I'm saying, it is very important that countries like Cameroon, when we have problems like the Anglophone problem, it's not a national party that will solve it. In Quebec, we have parties that focuses on the French part that they are minority. They created a political party. In Belgium, we have the Flemish people. They are minority. They created a political party to solve their problem. In this country, in UK, where I am, you created Scottish National Party to solve the Scottish problem. So if you think a national party will solve it, it won't work. You need a party like BCMP, where we will focus only on Northwest and Southwest. We call those type of party minor party. In Cameroon, we don't have minor party. But if you look at Bello Buba's party, Chiruma's party, all of them are minor party. The only national party in Cameroon is the CPDM. Our party is there to tell people to understand politics. A lot of people come there and say they are political leader. If you ask them about monetary policy, GDP, a lot of things, they don't know. As I said before, we shall never change our political leader until we change the people who elect them. Citizens should be able to bring the right leader for us to bring transformation. Don't like me, Maitre Mola Alex Ndive. Listen to what I'm saying. We want to change the health system in Cameroon that will be free for everybody. We want to make educational system to be free for everybody. Listen to what we want to do for you. Don't love me. We don't do politics of personality cult. We don't do that. And SDF should learn. Fundi is a dictator more than Paul Biya. And I said on the other time that Mr. Fundi must resign. When you stay too long in a position, you become a dictator, you become delusionary, you don't reason anymore. Fundi is not better off than Mr. Biya. I know you. Mr. Abibi, I know you. Please, you have served your time. It is time that you have to resign and leave people. I understand the political game that is going on behind the SDF. SDF is no longer the SDF in the 1990s. I know people who have account that government put money on them. I will say it on this program in the UK. It's here. I know government giving illegal money to taxpayers' money to SDF officials for them to fly abroad to do blah, blah, blah. I know all those things. But at the end of the day, these people who have signed, let me call it petition, the 27 people, you should be open. You have been covering up Mr. Fundi. That's why Mr. Fundi have been doing what he's doing. If you people were talking, If you people were proactive,
no, well, people have spoken and they use Article 8.2 on them. People who spoke out, like you said, I'm borrowing from you.
Yeah, you are right. In a political party, if it's not your hope, I don't join a political party because I want to be a member of parliament. Yes, I know Siga Asanga personally. Siga Asanga brought Mr. Fundi into the party, and Fundi sacked Siga Asanga. I will call him. Professor Siga Asanga was John Fundi's mentor. Professor Asangani was sacked. Barrister Benmuna, a landed barrister, was sacked. Professor Tamnjong was sacked. Kawala resigned. Chairman Ngekaluma sideline. I know all those things, but don't be there because you want to please Mr. Fundi. If people a lot, they are happy. I'm the Secretary General of this. I will never serve under somebody who have not got a brain. I will never serve under somebody who doesn't understand politics. I prefer to create, after 30 years, I've said, no, I've looked at the CPDM, they don't have the manifesto that I want. I've looked at the SDF, they don't want it, have the manifesto and other political party. That is why we created a political party, because I want us to be the change that we want to see. I will not tell people that you have to change. I am that change. I am a living example of what I want to see happen in the Camerons.
Thank you, Maître.
Merci beaucoup, Maître. On va parler avec Monie ce matin. Monie, est-ce qu'on va dire au regard de ce que les leaders du SDF demandent à Ndjong Fundi, que Ndjong Fundi n'était pas au courant des textes de leur parti politique?
Merci beaucoup, Gwladys, pour cette opportunité que tu me donnes. Comment est-ce que le président d'un parti n'est-il pas au courant de ce qui est dans...
C'est la question à se poser ce matin.
Donc je crois que tout ce qui se passe, il est au courant de tout ce qui se passe. Et je ne sais pas, comme Maître vient de souligner, most of the time, you know, there are some, like I for one, I used to be kind of, because I was growing up, looking at the CPDM, looking at the SDF party, we had a particular notion about the CPDM and a particular notion about the SDF. But you know, recently I have come to discover so many things, Gwladys, so many things that, you know, are going like the contrary of what I used to think, you know, about the SDF party. So I want to say that there is no way you can be the president of a party and not know the rules and regulations governing your party, because it is your party, you created it, you had a vision, you had a mission, you know why you created it. Okay, so I think Fundi is, you know, aware of everything that's going on. But now the question I want to ask, you know, the 27 party heavyweights, you know, that accuse Fundi of whatever they accused him of, is why they are asking for Honorable Joshua O.C. to present reports of the 2018 and 2020, you know, presidential elections and the twin polls now in 2022. What prompted them, you know, to ask for it right now? Why didn't they ask before? So what's the problem? What's actually going on? That's something that I'd really want to understand, because it's strange. It's just like the last time on the brief, we were talking about the fact that the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji, said that they were going to open an investigation, you know, on, you know, to find out where terrorists are getting their arms from, you know, and because he discovered that they are using sophisticated arms. The question was, are we supposed to wait when people have died or when things have been destroyed before we get to do the things that we ought to have done at the beginning? That's the question. So.
Mais on a donc l'impression qu'au Cameroun, c'est une maladie dans tous les Camerounais.
Exactement,
on attend toujours qu'il y ait un problème pour commencer à réfléchir.
No, there's another question. Do people really know that they know how to solve problems in Cameroon? Because sometimes people don't know how to go about solving problems. We are accusing people wrongly. Maybe they don't know. Maitre, do you share similar views that people in Cameroon might not know how to solve problems, and sometimes we are accusing them wrongly?
Oh, Mr. Lasha, for the first time, I'm going to criticize you now. How can you say a doctor doesn't know how to do his operation? How can you say a lawyer doesn't know how to present cases?
But there are doctors who are not really doctors.
For the first time, I'm criticize you on your program. How can you say doesn't know how to make chairs or furniture? How can you say before you go and do something, you have to make sure you are able to do it? It is important, and that is why people resign in modern democracy. When you make mistakes, when you do something that's not right, they call for you to resign. At the end of the day, with all due respect, I keep on saying this. Frundi is somebody that I know personally, a BB bookshop, I know him. But I keep on making people, when I come and talk here, I give my opinion. I'm not against John Frundi. I was with him in his house in Swa, and I ate my achu with my spoon in his house. So that's not a problem. I know him. I'm not here to criticize him. We're talking politics. And I'm saying, these people, before you hold an office, who are the people electing these people? And when you talk about, in Cameroon, let me put it in quotes. When you put about tribalism, let me put it in quotes, because I don't go with the definition of Cameroon tribalism. But let me use the Cameroon definition of tribalism. Frundi is there because of tribalism. Under normal circumstances, to my view, Frundi is not more competent than Professor Siga Asanga, Asongani, Ben Mona, Tamnjong, Abemukon. Frundi was there for a purpose. He was a businessman. This is a man, a CPDM militant, Frundi. He was a CPDM militant. He stood against Pa Achidi Achu several times. Achidi Achu beat Frundi hands down several times. So Frundi was a frustrated politician, a wannabe politician who could not succeed, who could not defeat or win a parliamentary seat in the Northwest region. So at the end of the day, they realized, okay, who can we put in front? Just a lot of other people who were there, who were working with the government, Ben Muna, who had links to the government, all of them, they said, okay, let's put Mr. Frundi in front. At the moment, we'll change him at some point. But however, Mr. Frundi went there and he became a chingom. He said, I'm not leaving. He said, I'm a caterpillar, will move it for you. That's what happened in CPDM. And they keep on saying, that it's Frundi who created it. It's not Frundi. I have been there in Sonak Street, in the Munjo's house. Pa Muna, Pa Foncha, Ben Muna, were there talking about solving this problem, because when Frundi went there, he said a caterpillar. People don't know. I know what happened in SDF from day one. I know Joe Munjo, who was the people who used to sit there and use his pickup for Frundi to talk. And Nico Kubi, who was the spokesperson. Mr. Akonte Sankaliwa. Most people I see them in SDF today, they are strangers. They don't know the roots. I've never been a militant, but I was there when everything was being happened. But at the end of the day, as a soothsayer, I saw it that SDF was not going to go anywhere. When money started coming in, the objective and purpose of SDF was killed from the day one. So I know what happened. I knew SDF was going to be an entropy. I knew they were not going to succeed because they changed from their objective. And I knew that. So at the end of the day, I am talking here. Today I'm talking on your program. Tomorrow they will see more Frundi. They say, oh, this man is funny. I know Frundi personally, but at the end of the day, Frundi is not fit to run a party. We have to accept it.
After 30 years, don't you think you are being too emotional and harsh on Frundi?
If I was doing emotion, I'm sure it would have been different. I'm putting facts. The fact is, why can't Frundi invite Frundi to come and sit on your program? We are doing modern politics. I respect people like Emmanuela who can stand and come on your platform and talk. These politicians, invite them here, they will be embarrassed because they don't know. If you ask them what are their roles, what are their rules in their party, don't know what they are doing. I'm the one telling you it's a truth, it's a fact. We need modern people. If I say I want to do something, including Mr. Bia cannot sit here. You saw Mr. Bia, he was interviewed in France. He was confused in the interview because these people, they have that politics that you adore them. In politics, you have to convince the people. People have to ask you questions every day. You, the journalist, I want to see you in a 2D. Say you want to interview Mr. Bia. Why did Mr. Bia did not do what he promised, Victoria, Deep Seaport, and Ring Road? You people, you see, sometimes I see the newspaper, Frank Bia. Has Frank Bia ever told you that he wants to be president of Cameroon? Why can the journalist not go there and ask him his opinion?
But so if he has refused to talk to us, should we force him to talk?
I don't think. Have you ever asked Frank Bia that you want to talk to him? Have you ever done that? Be honest on this platform. I don't think you have done that.
No, but my other colleagues have done so.
No,
yes.
No, that is hearsay. Your other point.
No.
Have you ever tried? The point is, I go back again. I have nothing against Frundi, but another point that I will say about SDF, which is important, do they not have a means that they can go and ask for a vote of no confidence to kick him out as the leader of the political party SDF. So they cannot sit here and be saying we should call something for a vision. Mr. Bia have never had a cabinet meeting since 2015. Fundi have never had similar thing, member of the standing committee. They have never sat in accordance with SDF rule since 2013. So they are doing the same thing. If you want to change...
So it means you are saying that Fundi is worse than Bia?
Politically, Fundi is worse than Bia. I am seeing everything now from hindsight. If Fundi would have been the president of Cameroon, I'm sure Cameroon would have been tumbling upside down. Because I'm not saying Bia is any better, but Fundi doesn't follow the rules. If you cannot follow your bylaws in your own party or your constitution, then how can you run a country?
Now let's talk now about Kamto. Kamto said he was going to create a model political party in the country, and his mandate is coming to an end. Are we sure Kamto will respect what he said?
My problem is when you come about mandate coming to an end, I will tell you, Kamto was my lecturer in Guakere. He taught me droit administratif approfondi. He was the best lecturer among us Anglophone. We love Kamto. But from day one, I've always witnessed, I've seen Kamto as a lecturer is not a good politician. That's my view. And about the issue about mandate in the opposition political party, I don't support it. Why? You're not in power. In politics, you look for a candidate who can win. At the moment, Mr. Kamto is most popular in his political party. So if you bring somebody who is not a winner, those things about terms of office come when you are in power. If you're not in power, I don't see why you will remove the
But he used his own mouth. He used his own mouth to declare that his party was going to be a model party in the country, which means that the text of the party...
The mistake Mr. Kamto they made in their party, you don't change. Like in the UK, in America, we have 2 terms of office. In the UK, we don't have it. At any time, when you do something that you're unpopular, your MPs, they will give you a vote of no confidence, they can kick you out, which I believe it's good. So I don't think Mr. Kamto, they made a mistake. But however, taking into consideration the rules of their party, when his mandate comes to an end, he should step down. If he doesn't step down, he will be leading a bad example. But my opinion, generally...
Bad example with that huge crowd,
It's not a matter of crowd. What I want Kamto to come and show me membership. Membership, the most important people are your activists, people who are registered, who paid their levy as members of your party. Anybody can go and stand and draw a huge crowd. Most people who draw you huge crowd are who are the musician. I'm not a musician. I'm a political leader. So I don't dwell on crowd. What is important is the people, the voters, the electorate. You can have a huge crowd. The people who voted for Mr. Bia were just 2 million people out of approximately voters in Cameroon. There should be about 17 million. So you understand, it's not about crowd. I can be excited. I was somebody who was anxious. I'm activist. I want to be in the rally. But it doesn't mean that I will go and vote. So you don't judge voters based on crowd. You vote them by the people who are registered to vote. However, I will keep on maintaining, unfortunately, that they have something in their party that they have 2 terms limit. I will not give a term of office for an opposition political leader. Because
so it means that in their own party, how is your own constitution? It means that you are not better than Fundi. You're almost like
No,
Fundi.
I'm just telling you, listen, when you want to get to power, you look for somebody who is electable. And because I cannot put term of office and remove an electable person, that because the term of office says so. You are still struggling to get to power. You're not in government. Fundi is not the most elected
but he's struggling to get to government also. For the past 30 years, he has been struggling to get to the government. I mean, to get to a...
Yes, but what happened with them? They had presidential election last time, and they had 4%. Mr. Bia had 71%. That was a disgrace. Mr. O.C. Joshua would have resigned after having the worst presidential election since 1990. But he's still there, and they want to replace or change the chairman by bringing a failure, somebody who have had the worst presidential election in the history of SDF. That's why SDF can never succeed. SDF, they are trying to do what we call agree. There are people like Honorable Ninche. There's another man, Maitre Chapi. I met him in a program. I met him in Douala. Those are good people. Those are people who can revive the fortune of the SDF. But SDF will never...
But the question now is that does the chairman trust them? They might take the
It's
SDF
not
and...
about the chairman, it's about the militant of the party. Now you're talking like PM Diongute is going to represent Pobia. Now you're talking the same thing that does the chairman trust them. It's the chairman, it's not the party. It's SDF. The party does not belong to him. He was not the person who created the party. So at the end of the day, yes, you're saying the same thing does the chairman. Is the chairman the owner of the party? He's not the owner of the party. Fundi announced that he was leaving the party. Is it up to a year ago? What is he still doing there? Is it the money that he's enjoying? Is it the kickbacks that he's taking? Mr. Fundi, if you love your party, stay there. I'm happy that you're there because when we have people like you, by the time we land there, we'll kick you out from the... Our focus is in Northwest and Southwest. Our focus, that's our party. So we'll kick you out. Keep on staying there. It's good for us as an opponent. So Mr. Fundi should understand that the time has come for him to go. But the problem is, there's already an ordained candidate, and they don't know how to put that candidate. It's just like President Paul Biantu. He's our father. He's our grandfather. He's tired. But these people behind now, they don't know who to replace now. They're having trouble. So CPTM and SDF, they're having the same problem. They have the candidates that they want to put them, but they don't know how to put them. That's what's going on now.
Ok, d'accord, maître, on va parler du test de Covid-19 au Cameroun. C'est définitif et c'est légal déjà. Le test de Covid-19 au Cameroun est payant. Depuis le 1er juin de ce mois, de cette année 2022, et c'est 30 000 francs CFA. Alors, les députés, au jour d'aujourd'hui, exigent des clarifications au sujet de ces tests de Covid-19 qui sont devenus payants au Cameroun, à hauteur de 30 000 francs CFA.
They don't want clarification about the money, the amount they are paid, or do they want to know if the test is okay? No, I don't understand. I know
they
that
want,
you're talking
they
about
want clarifications. They want clarifications on the amount and why the Cameroonians have to pay 30,000 francs to get COVID-19 test.
If we want to talk about clarification of that amount, we should start by asking the MPs the clarification of them having about 100 million pounds on their secretariat and the amount of money that they are taking without doing anything, without discussing the Anglophone problem. We should start with them. Charity begins at home. So they shouldn't try to pretend to ask. I know in the UK where I am, the COVID test, they do pay, which is approximately similar amount. But at the end of the day, they shouldn't try to remove dirt on somebody's eyes. They should start removing it on their eyes. Why are they receiving the amount of money, the MPs that they are receiving without representing the people, without talking about the problem, without talking about local water, without talking about electricity that we don't have, without talking about the garbages in our street? They should tell us, because I'm doubting. If I was an MP in Cameroon, I would take my salary, I would give it back to the people because they don't deserve salary to me. That's where we should start. Yes, I understand it's difficult for people. They have to bring out that money. 30,000 francs CFA is a lot of money. It's a lot of money. Some people, they don't earn that money a month. So I know we should call, we should look at it. And to me, personally, I will ask the head of state to make it free. We should even bypass them because the parliament is a rubber stamp parliament. So I'm calling on Mr. Biya, make this test to be free. It's a matter of public health. People should not be paying for such tests. So I'm calling on Mr. Biya, please make it free. Our people need to be COVID free. Mr. Biya, you can do it without the parliament. You know they are just rubber stamp. You know they are your robots. You can just press a button and they will listen to you. And you have absolute majority in parliament. So please, Mr. Biya, listen to my plea. Make it free for the people of the Cameroon. It's their health. It's very important.
Okay.
You know, we just parliament.
Okay. Yeah. Ok, Emmanuela Monie, est-ce que vous pensez effectivement que le Camerounais moyen, parce qu'il faut le dire, il y a les Camerounais qui touchent moins de 30 000 francs par mois, peuvent s'offrir ce test de Covid-19?
Déjà, Gwladys, quand le test était, when it was free,
oui.
People, first of all, in Cameroon, most people haven't even accepted that there is anything that exists like COVID-19.
Yeah, that's true.
And when the test was free, it was difficult to convince people to even go get the test. So I don't see how possible it's going to be now for people to go and get the test when it's at 30,000 francs just for a test, you know. Sometimes when you fall sick, you go to the hospital and you consult and do whatever, you get drugs. It's not even up to 30,000 francs, okay? But now, for something that people have not even believed in, they are telling them that to test for that thing, you have to pay about, you know, you have to pay 30,000 francs. I don't see how that is going to be possible in Cameroon.
Peut-être que ça concerne plus ceux qui vont voyager, ceux qui voyagent, qui sortent du pays, parce que c'est quand même obligatoire.
Exactly. That's for those who are, just like you said, that's
traveling and doing business.
Yeah, those who are traveling, those who are going out for their businesses, it's going to work perfectly for them because it's something they have to do. It's obligatory for them and all that. But for a common man, it's going to be very difficult.
Okay.
Maitre Alex, the very first red card has come from Qatar. This red card has been issued to people, unmarried couples, and they have said anybody who is not married, try to have sex in Qatar come November, will face a jail term of 7 years. Bad laws. Another example of bad law.
Mr. Eto should be looking and trying to ask FIFA to transfer World Cup in the Cameroons. Why do I say so? Before these guys, they accepted to host the World Cup, they have to weave out their Sharia and strict laws. Like normally you see Formula One, usually they don't drink alcohol in most of these Arab countries. They accepted with FIFA that they are going to allow people to drink alcohol. They are going to allow people to have their, let me call it in quotes, Western culture. So what they are doing is wrong. And if they continue to do that, FIFA can sanction them. It's a fact. I'm telling you, I'm not making up. They can sanction them because they accepted certain things that are not in accordance with their laws, like drinking of alcohol.
Maitre, they are saying that they are saying because most often for you to lodge in a hotel in those countries as couples or opposite sex, you must present a document showing that you are a document that is binding you guys legally.
I'm answering your question. Before they allow them to host the World Cup, they weave out most of those rights that they do whatsoever in their country, their national laws. They accepted. That's it. That's what most papers are not saying. They accepted that normally they don't drink alcohol. As you say, if you're not a couple, you cannot do. They accepted. They agree with FIFA, and if they keep on doing what they are doing,
don't you think they are afraid? They are afraid that their women might, you know, be taken away by people who are coming in.
First of all, I would say this. Not all, most Muslim countries, the way they treat their women like slaves, so they should not be afraid about people coming to take their women. They don't respect their women, they treat them like slaves, they don't have rights. Some countries they cannot drive, some countries they cannot do anything, they treat them like slaves. So they shouldn't be afraid of that. However, we are living in a modern world. I'm not saying their laws are bad or whatsoever. They have some good laws, but we are human beings, we are Homo sapiens. Sometimes they have to allow people to live the way they want to live. We live in a world today that people get married all over the world from different countries. So there's nothing wrong with that. If they are afraid that their women can be interested in other men, that's their problem and they have to deal with it. We have to live in the reality of modern world. It's very important. So at the end of the day, I'm saying, I look at what people are saying about the rules that people who are not coupled, they cannot do whatsoever. At the end of the day, there is a rule, there is a contract. Before they gave them the right to host the World Cup, FIFA made it clear that they have to keep some of those their rules that is antediluvian, which is archaic, which is ancient. They have to keep it aside and deal with it. It's football. That is why they were granted the right to host the World Cup. So sometimes when I read this thing in the media, maybe
it's a UK newspaper, that published.
I'm not refusing. I'm just saying it's just like a Dio who said that they should use witchcraft to fight Amber. So maybe one person in the country in Qatar can make those statements. So we have those type of people anywhere. Then the paper will take it now and blow it. Their tabloids paper they want to sell. It's a good topic. People like those sensitive type of topics. So I understand why it's a front line in the paper because it's a UK paper. Normally, when they talk about sex, everybody want to listen. It's funny. People want to. So they put things in the paper that is interesting. Sometimes when we talk about serious things here, a lot of people don't follow us because we are too serious.
Okay, Maitre, let's talk about Cameroon that has lost a position in FIFA's classification moving from 37th to the 38th position. That's world ranking and the 5th in the continent.
And the 5th in the continent. Well, personally, I'll tell you about my view about our national team. I'm very worried because I've seen a lot of things that we talk about the team. I'm very worried because we are not able or we don't want to bring in new players. I look at our striker, Abubakar. Sorry, yes, Abubakar scored a couple of goals, but he's not an outright striker. I've seen people saying that those people who help us to qualify, they must be the one to play. If we take that team, mark my words, keep this video, you repeat it. If we take the current team that we have and go to the World Cup in Qatar, I'm sure we will not even qualify for the first round. Because we have qualified by certain players, it doesn't mean they must be the one to play. We have to assess other players. We have Elanga who plays in Manchester United. We have other people, Chupo. We should bring them in. Because you qualify us doesn't mean that you automatically have the right to play.
Maître, c'est parce que ces joueurs que vous êtes en train d'appeler là, ils ont refusé de venir jouer pour la CAN, pour ces qualifications. Ils ont refusé de venir jouer.
Yes, in times, your wife in the house, matrimonial home, you have differences, and it doesn't mean that because you have differences, you cannot come back and say something. France is not a stupid thing. You see the French national team, they have a lot of Africans there. They won the World Cup. At the end of the day, they are not saying Africans they won the World Cup. They are saying France won the World Cup. So if they have differences with Elanga, it doesn't matter. There's always a way you can talk with him and other players and bring them back to join the entire team. It is very important that we look at all of our teams, the players that are good. We want to win the World Cup. That's it. Whether we take somebody from whatever country and bring them there, we win it. They will say, Le Cameroon a gagné. They wouldn't look at, oh, il a refusé. I presume if you tell Elanga that he should come and play in Cameroon, I'm sure he will play. But however, forget about the past. We need to reform our team. Yes, I'm happy that we qualify for the World Cup. But is the team good enough to qualify or to compete in that competition? I don't think so.
Thank you, Maitre Alex Ndive, for coming. That was the last edition of the program for the week. And thank you for participating all through the week. It was a pleasure having you, sir.
Thank you very much, and your entire team, and Mr. Lasha, Gwladys, and Emmanuela, and our entire team. I wish you a pleasant weekend.
Thank you, Maitre. Thank you to Emmanuela Monie for coming.
Thank you, Kingsley. Thank you, Gwladys, for having me.
Thank you to televiewers of My Media Prime Television for watching this other edition of The Brief, the very last for the week, which was produced for us by Christain, Tebong. We were Gwladys, Bomotonguina, myself, Lasha, Kingsley. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.